Manthey Racing has competed in Porsches for decades. Since Porsche became a majority owner of the company in 2013, Manthey has become heavily involved in Porsche Motorsport's operations, runs the Porsche Track Experience, and creates Manthey kits for Porsche's fastest street cars to set Nürburgring lap records. The best part? MR kits are now sold in North America and retain the factory new car warranty. Stay tuned as we speak with one of Manthey Racing's two CEOs, as well as the owner of a Porsche 911 GT2 RS Clubsport 25, who gives us a tour of and drives some hot laps in the special race car celebrating 25 years of Manthey Racing.
Be sure to log into your YouTube account, subscribe to our channel, and turn on notifications so you don't miss a video.
My name is Niki Reda, and together with my brother Martin, I'm CEO of Manthey Racing since 2013. We are here at the Rennsport Reunion 7. It's an honor to be here. It's my first time here, and it's really nice, and don't expect so much Porsche. Manthey Racing started in 1996 as a racing team. Olaf Manthey founded. My brother and me also founded a racing team in 2001. And in the year 2013 we go together, Manthey and Club Motorsport. And in the same year Porsche comes in with 51%. Olaf goes out a bit, sells the 51% to Porsche and owned now 9%, and my brother and me 40%. We are involved in developing the racing cars. We support with engineers, with mechanics, not in the construction, on the design. If the car is ready and if Porsche starts to test, then we are involved. And we also give the feedback of the actual race cars, that if we have some wishes and we have some ideas, we can bring it in, and they also listen to us and if we have good ideas. And the street cars, we are not so much involved. We get the cars like the GT3, so ready, and then we develop our kits also together with Porsche, sometimes more, sometimes less. But on the end, we spoke about everything with Porsche, and Porsche knows what we are doing, and we do it together. This is the main thing. It needs a long time that it's possible for us to sell the kits in the US, and we are very proud that it's possible now. We develop the kits from the technical side, and Porsche is responsible to legalize it here and to make all the official things. And this is a part of Porsche. This was a long way. It's easy to build up a car to beat a lap record. This is our daily business. But to legalize it, to make all the official things, that it's another really big part. This is done by Porsche himself. With the race cars, it's much easier. So we develop kits for the race cars. If it's sometimes Porsche don't want to do it because it's perhaps makes no sense, and because it's too less customers, or it's no time, or there are different reasons. And then for us, it's allowed to do a kit. For example, in 2015, we developed the SRO GT4 kit for the GT4 Cayman, because this was not homologated from Porsche. We do the homologation kit, and the customers can sell the car directly by us, because all the Cayman race cars and all the 992 and Generation 2 991 Cup cars are delivered from Molspad, and we make the last check of the car, and the people can buy from us an upgrade like IBS or an SRO kit, and this is a very important part for us. So we have at the moment 42 dealerships in the US who are trained to install the Manthey kit. So for sure you need the car, and then you can go to one of the 42 dealers, and they can install you the Manthey kits in the whole US. I think you have to look on the homepage of Porsche to find your dealer, and we teach them, and we helps them to get the understanding what they have to do to install it properly. If you are a Manthey dealer, you have to teach them. They have to buy a wheel alignment system, and this wheel alignment system we developed for the Le Mans race cars, for the RSR, and every street car is set up with the same wheel alignment system like we used on the Grello or like on the RSR in the past. All the racing know-how is in the street cars, and this is not only the 25, this is a cup cars, and out of every race car we take our know-how into the street cars. And the companies who produce the parts for us are the same company who produce the parts for the race cars. So they also know their business, and they are the best in the business. And that is our trick to bring the maximum performance from the race cars into the street cars. We have for an GT3 Cup, there's available a Club of America kit. It's an upgrade, so it's going in the direction of the GT3R. And we also have the idea to put that kit on the GT2 RS Clubsport. This is not so easy like it sounds, and then we talk with Porsche, should we do it or not? And we decide that we don't do it. But then come COVID, and in the COVID time, the people are open for other ideas, and it was a COVID project. And then we start to make a Clubsport, GT2 Clubsport MR. This was the first idea. And then we go to Porsche and we ask Grant Larson if we have some ideas with the optic, with the design. And they say, oh, it's a good looking car, it's nice. And then they take a look on all our old race cars and make a new design. And we changed every part, but we are happy with that because it looks so great and was such an honor to work together with a great designer like Grant Larson. And he makes the design, and then we developed the car. The technical device was the same, the first idea. But we have now the new design for the performance kit, and together it was a Clubsport 25, and it's a beautiful car with a lot of design things out of our history. It was perfectly and to make it as a anniversary model. And it's a really nice project, and it was the first car was sold from Porsche, and the idea and developing is from us. The design is from Porsche, it's Grant Larson, but everything behind, the testing, the developing, the idea, it's from Manthey. And so it was a perfect present from Porsche to us as a 25th anniversary model.
So my name's Carl Leinsing, and we're here in Tamworth, New Hampshire, Club Motorsport. I'm with the North Country region of the Porsche Club of America, and we're here to show the GT2 RS Clubsport 25. So this track is in Tamworth, New Hampshire. It's in a great area where you can see the foliage. It's got a great view, but it's also a great track. It's a very forgiving track. Has elevation of 250-foot changes all the way around the track. It has a great straight, nice big long sweeping left-hander. All the different challenges you would like to see in a track. And it's just an amazing facility. There's different garages, and the view is just amazing here as well. So here we have the Porsche GT2 RS Clubsport 25. There were two cars that were developed together at the same time. One was the GT2 RS Clubsport, and the other one was the 935 that had body panels that looked like the original 935. There were a lot fewer of the cars of the 935 made. It had the wider tires than the GT2 RS Clubsport. It had other features in the front with some aero, but it still had the 3 radiators in the front. It didn't have the additional downforce that now the Clubsport 25 has. So there's been a lot more put into the Clubsport 25 in terms of aero than the 935 had. The 935 was more of a tribute to the original 935. Porsche started out with a GT2 RS, the street car. It's a 3.8 liter twin turbo street monster is basically the best way to describe it. It's like has all the handling abilities of a 3RS, but with the 700 horsepower 3.8 liter twin turbo engine versus the 520 horsepower of a 3RS. But one of the unique things about the GT2 RS Clubsport compared to other race cars is it has the same engine and the same transmission as the street car. What I found from racing SRO with the car in 2020, that car, the engine and the transmission is bulletproof. Porsche Motorsport had no idea what was going to happen with the transmission because it's not a specific racing transmission. They were prepared to do any kind of changes they needed to do, but in the end, no changes were required. That engine and transmission was amazing and bulletproof. It took all of the torture of racing on the track and all the races that I did, both at Indianapolis and with SRO, and it just never skipped a beat. It ran flawlessly. All right, so we're going to talk about some of the features that were put into the Clubsport 25, and particularly those that are different from the original GT2 RS Clubsport. So first, the biggest change was taking the 2 side radiators that were here on the right and on the left, and deleting those radiators out of the car and putting one large radiator in the center of the car. So now instead, on each side, we have these rectangular ducts here. These are primarily for brake cooling in the front. And then these two this surface and the acid green planes that are here are for downforce in the front of the car, in addition to the 2 dive planes that are here that have very large exit areas that go into the left and right front fenders to provide significant downforce to the car, in addition to a much larger splitter on the front. And then underneath the splitter is a wooden rub surface for coming around those curbs or around the car that you can then replace on the car. Underneath the car, starting from the splitter and going all the way back into the rear diffuser, is completely smooth like an airplane wing. That is much different than the previous GT2 RS Clubsport, where this one has one big large piece of carbon fiber and connects all the way back to the rear diffuser, in addition to all the other ducting that goes into the front of the wheels to bring the air under and to the sides. Then as we look inside the car, in the front hood, we can see that big large center radiator. We also now see in the new 992 GT3 RS, we have one big large radiator that cools the engine in the back. You can see the big large cooling tubes that come in and out of the car to run a lot of coolant through that area to keep the engine very cool. Everything else in the front, the brakes front and rear that you can allow for bias front and rear, is the same as the GT2 RS. They do add the SRO package here for the rapid fuel filling in the car. The shocks, as we come around, you can see 2 of the adjustments that you could make for dampening and rebound. 2 of them are here. These are the KW shocks that I talked about earlier. That are you can actually see that they worked KW with Porsche, and they're installed in the Clubsport 25. There's one additional, the 3rd adjustment, which is on the shock strut itself for the suspension. Then as we come around, you can see those dive planes. They exit into these fenders on the left and right hand side. So now we have a lot more air coming in here, both for brake cooling and for downforce. So that requires removing that air so that you don't create lift on the car. So you have a much bigger exit on the top of the fender. And then on the left and the right hand side, this is big openings on the side, so the car is much wider in the front to allow for that air to escape. Then if we close this hood, we can see that if the cooling air for the center radiator goes into the center and then comes up and over the hood, we need to make sure that that warm air doesn't come up over the hood and then go into the intakes in the back. So what happens is we have the RSR mirrors that are put on the left and right hand side, and you'll notice that they're angled just slightly down to create some actual pull to the air, to pull that air out of the ducts from the front, down around the side, and out to the back of the car. Coming further around the car, these doors are the same as the GT2 RS. They still have the carbon fiber, super lightweight doors. The rocker panels on both sides of the car are much larger, that extend on both sides of the car. That's to give some of the exit air coming out of the front fenders a place to go. And then on both sides here of the car, you see big, large intake ducts. These ducts go right into the intercoolers on both the left and right hand side. The intercoolers are larger than the street car. They have jets on both sides that spray distilled water on them. It's kind of like a person sweating. You want to spray the water onto the intercoolers to help them cool. And it actually makes a big difference in the car, because when I raced with SRO, there was one car, one GT2 RS Clubsport, that didn't have the sprays working, and I could pull away on the straights, on the back straight at VIR. So it does make a big difference in the car. As we come around again to the car, we see the rear wing. The rear wing is much larger than the Clubsport. This wing comes right off of the RSR race car. It has the wing end plates that are like the RSR that help with additional downforce and funneling the air right where you want it, as well as the gooseneck mounts that are in the back for the wing. So that means that all of these panels, all the way from the front to the back, except for the doors, needed to be modified, including the back hatch, because now you got different mounts for the wing. Then as we come around the back of the car, you can see some additional ducting that is here for the intercooler that is here on the side. That helps to bring the air away from the intercoolers for cooling of those, and also for additional downforce. Then in the back of the car, we can see down low all of that air that's coming underneath the car. The diffuser is a much more gradual taper to it, because when you're trying to, you want to actually get air to move a lot faster underneath the car so that you create the additional downforce. If you make too much of a change in the diffuser or the angle too abruptly, then the air will depart from that surface. So to make it be more aerodynamic, you want that surface to be much more gradual and then all the way through under the car, and that's what they've changed in the Clubsport 25. That's a significant improvement over the GT2 RS Clubsport. They also added some different rear tailpipes for an effect to basically make a statement that this is a GT2 RS Clubsport 25 and there's no other car like it. So in the Clubsport 25, and like the Clubsport, this section of the car is the same. You have a mounting place here which picks up an IR transmission beam that gives you your lap times, or your trigger for your lap. That can be moved from either the right side of the car or the left side of the car. Currently it's on the left side of the car. This is where you fill your distilled water. It's up to 5 gallons. This cap comes off, you put the water in here, and then inside the car on the left, there's a water empty and a water spray. So you push the water empty, you hook up a hose to here, and you can actually drain that distilled water tank for either weighing the car or for storage later. This port right here, this is where you would put nitrogen air. It's about 550 psi to lift the car. You hook up the jack with a nitrogen bottle, lifts up the whole car with 4 struts underneath the car. They come right down, lift the whole car up, and then to lower the car, you pull the blue knob, and then the whole car comes right down on the wheels real quickly. The car is really easy to service. Inside the car, There's connections for your Motec system, your intelligent color display, which is a Cosworth system on the front, and then there's the PWIS system that you connect for diagnostics on the Porsche ECU and other parts of the car. Porsche makes it nice and easy to race. They make connections over on the side, which allows you to connect your drink water system, connect your radio, to connect external monitoring systems like a Motec or a V-Box system. There's two different supply systems for power. In this case, I use one for the radio and one for the Motec. The Motec also allows for a rear camera system, so this particular car has a rear camera in it, so you can see the back over that big large wing. So the steering wheel is a little bit different than the Club Sport. It looks a little bit different. Has the same buttons and everything on it. You have your radio button, your drink button. It has different displays for looking at all of the vitals of the car: oil temperature, water temperature, all the different oil pressures and things that you need to watch for, fuel. There's a push to talk there for the radio. There's all kinds of adjustments for your brake bias, and then you have adjustments for your dry tires and your wet tires, and then you can also adjust for your ABS and your anti-lock. There's like about 11 different settings for that. But as you notice, in the middle of it, you have a shift knob that's identical to the street car. And that's because the engine and the transmission is identical to a GT2 RS. So, and I think that just says a lot for the road car. In particular, the water that I talked about earlier, the distilled water, you can see the big tank there. It's a stainless steel tank. It's 5 gallons, and it has the pump to spray it on there. It's quite a large pump, in fact, to spray that water on there. And it does use it a whole lot more in the race cars than it does the street car. I look at my street car and it's pretty much full all the time. In this one, I'll use the 5 gallons in a 40-minute race. This whole front fender of the car can come off with two locks. So we take this one off and the other one off. This whole piece can come off for quick removal and assembly for racing in case there's any damage to the car during racing. So just unhook that, yep, that's it. And lift this up. So here we can see, like in, 3 minutes, we took off the entire 2 fenders and the front upper part of the bumper. So that allows for a quick change of the bumper and put everything back on. But part of what you can see is with what Grant Larson did with the design and working with Manthey Racing and Porsche Motorsport, a lot of detail went into the carbon fiber. They didn't just throw all these pieces together and put them on the car. I mean, you take things off and you see how everything just fits together perfectly. And then the front bumper connects to this part here. It mates a male and female section of this rib, which holds that bumper in place. It's just a really incredible way to put on a bumper really quickly, but yet be really strong.